Hello everyone. Right, quick video. We're talking about Laserdisc. Right, I'm going to basically talk you through a super quick video on how to encode from a time-based correction file. So basically, if you've got one of these bad boys, it says Laserdisc. This was bad episode there. Oh my god, stupid thing. Anyway, it's a Laserdisc. What we do, and try not to put your fingerprints all over it, but there you go. I am. Right, essentially, I'm going to be going over this today, not in terms of anything with the Domesday duplicator. I'll link some videos. There's a really good one as well, talking about all the elements of that. So how to record or anything like that, that's not going to be discussed by me. That will be on, I think it's Tech Tangents. There's two very good. It's like part one, part two. Look at all of that. I'm not going to be showing you anything on the tools or anything specific. This is more of, I have a TBC file, which is time-based correction file. How do I turn that into a video? And that's where I can help today. So let's get into it, shall we? Join me over on the other monitor. Let's go. Bye. Right then, hello and welcome. So what we have is a whole load of rubbish on my screen. There we go. So this is essentially the files that you will get from the end of a Domesday duplicator. So they tend to be LDS files. At the moment, at the time of this recording, they've also moved the software over. There's Decode-Orc. I've been using LD tools, but there's a bit of a shift in terms of the next generation stuff. So I'm just going to show you, there'll be links in the description where to get the ones that worked for me. And yeah, it's just going to be fairly quick and easy. But this is essentially what you start from. So in this, you can get, as the software advances, you can just extract from here. This unpacks essentially into a time-based correction file. The JSON is the old style. It's now SQL based. It's like the database engine, I believe, in terms of the metadata information. So there's improvements. You're in the middle of Improvementville, but anywho, essentially what you'll come out with is, let me find it. Where have I put it? God, you have too many things open. You have too many things open, guy. Right. This would have helped if I did this earlier. This is the one I made earlier. Right, that's for later on. You're going to see that in a second. Yes, so this is the element. I need to go into... Nope. Tools 2. Yeah, so that'll do. This is the software I'm using behind here. So I'm just going to stick that there so I can catch it back again. So this is the TBC tools. This is version 2. This isn't the latest one, but this is the one that I had on the computer. It works for me. The latest one I seem to have an error with, but that's probably because there's movement over to the other stuff. The other thing, which is the latest in terms of Decode-Orc, so this is Simon Lynn's here, and basically if you look at the forum, this is the structure, so this is where it's going to. But there's, we're not going to really touch on that too much today. I'm essentially working off this. So there's a whole host of stuff that I, still like, and I'm just going to walk you through that. So let's get into it then. So LD tools, I already have it open. I open up LD analyze. One of the things that's important is on my exclusions on the antivirus. Basically, I add the folder wherever I'm working at just to stop Windows from being stupid. So you just come into virus, add remove exclusions, and do it there, okay? Right, so load up ld analyze. ld analyze will be loaded, like so. There we go. What you then do is you can open the file. In this case, I have DS9 necessary evil. This is a time-based correction file. This is the JSON file with the metadata. You can see it's 77 gig in size. If you're doing anything with Domesday duplicator files, you need to have a lot of space. So SSDs, You know, you really need to be having 2 terabytes and above, really, to do a single episode. But as you can see here, we have a lot of the episode in here. One of the things I always check, well, this is for a little bit later on, but they obviously got the various parameters in there. We also have the decoder options. Now in here, we will be running, I'll just move this into source here so you can see it in color. So all I did there was click source. 3D encoder, you want to have phase compensation decoding. You'll see that in the command we do shortly, enabled. The reason being is this keeps it in line with the standard. Now, sometimes you'll be like, hey, that looks better. Why would I want to put phase encoding on? Because this particular show has been encoded incorrectly. This is a BT 470M. They encoded it in the wrong standard. It's one of the issues that we've been finding. So in my process, when I come out of here, when I take the source file, part of my initial pre-processing is I turn it into a Rec 709 modern. Just basically, it just upgrades the color to what it should have been. Because it's slightly out here, as you can see. If I just move on to ROM here, I'm going to take that off. Sometimes it can look a little bit more, just the colors look, it's a bit too yellowy there, and there's a whole reason for all of this. You'll tend to have a green tint all over the shop with some of this stuff. But anyhow, phase encoding is what you want on. I'll turn that off. Now, even though this is a Japanese NTSC-J, the Trek was encoded, just leave it as NTSC. This is only for your viewing inside of LDS. The command code will do all of this anyway. But this is just so if you want to then actually look at the file. Now, the command that you will need. So basically, once you've installed said tools here, one of the things we will be initiating with is ld-chroma-decoder. This is the thing here. I actually have this folder in my, well, a folder like this. I've got a different one here in my path. It's in Windows path. Just say so I can have it stored somewhere else and just call the command. Same thing with ffmpeg. I have that stored as well in my path, so I can just run it anywhere on my computer. So let us take a look at the command. So there's 2 things. Basically, this will kick out 16-bit stuff. So I move most of my files initially straight in FFV1. It's lossless because ProRes isn't. It's visually lossless, but it's not mathematically lossless. So I tend to have a master straight off in FFV1 at 444 chroma and 16-bit. If you go to ProRes, it's 444 10-bit. That's just the way it goes. So the command that we'll need, this is the command. So essentially what we're saying is we load up chroma-decoder, and if you want to actually, if we just go into the command prompt here, command prompt, and if I come into ld chroma-decoder, decoder, just do that, and I'll do help. What you can see is NT-phase, adjust phase per line using the burst phase. We can see as well that FNTSC initiates the where are we in here? Oh, it takes, well, there it is. It's the decoder to use. So we're going to use the NTSC 3D decoder for this particular part. Y4M, that's just the actual pipe that we're putting out. NT-phase compensation, that's the tick box that you saw earlier. That's the important bit. The adapt threshold and chroma-weight was something we added into their software. It really does help a lot with where there's fast motion scenes and it can't really decide to keep the 3D where the luma and the chroma is kind of going a bit wonky, so it drops it down into 2D a bit more. These are pretty much the best settings for that. I think it's down in here. There, we added this in. So this was it here, but that's good. Adapt threshold there. Some people try chroma-weight 2.0. I like 1.4, but you can test it. It's your stuff. You can do what you want. This you can just ignore. I've put them in deliberately. It's just my own quirks. You don't really need them in. We're not putting any noise reduction on it. This is the important part, so we're telling it what input we want. So we're going to take necessary evil. There's the JSON file, there's the TBC. We'll pipe it over ffmpeg. And this is just mapping to ProRes. This is the ProRes one first. So as you can see, I've just kicked it out to ProRes 444. You can stick this in any LLM and just, you know, get it converted to whatever you need. We're setting it as 4x3 and top field first. So that will do the command. So what you would do is you just lift that. And these commands should be in the video description, if I remember, which I should. Whap that in there, press enter, and away it will go. So if you want the FFV1, which is the one I always use, this is just slightly different. So it's mainly on the ffmpeg side that it changes. Level 3, G1, coda 1, we slice is 24. And it's putting it out at 444 16-bit. Whereas that one is at 10-bit, as you can see up there. And that is how you then get a video output. Essentially, let me see if I have just the folder. Yeah, I can punch in. I'm just punching to something else. There it is. It's over there. I'll bring it across. And we can look at... Well, I've done some... This is slightly more advanced, but I can show you it anyway. Essentially, it's just this. So if we just pump this out... This is a different episode. This is Voyager. But it gives you the general idea of what it does. You'll notice there is no sound, because sound is a different part of the encoding process from a Laserdisc. Yay! But I don't do that because it comes out. I mean, obviously, if you're a purist, you want stereo. There's also the well, there's a few options actually on Laserdisc which are beyond the scope of this video to get audio out. I'm not doing that because I'm going to pair it with the 5:1 DVD audio. So I'm taking audio from a DVD source, and I'm going to pair it with a video from a Laserdisc file. So yes, that is how you get a file, and then from these files, you can stick it in via something like, you know, whatever your heart's content. You can then bash this into Handbrake. So I just bring that file back up. I just use this one over here. If we go into something like, where was I? There it is there. Well, I'll just pull this ProRes file, stick it in here. There we go. We have the ProRes in, and you can then stick a preset on whatever you like. You're probably going to be down here in the production values to whatever you like. Yep. Or you want to stick it into something you encode off. Whatever you need. That is basically in a nutshell. And I said it was going to be quick, and I haven't done it very quick. But there you go. That is how you do a command to stick a time-based correction file to a video file. And that's another video up. And if you then want to show like audio, if you literally like, hey, that's interesting, show me more of this, then by all means, just add the comment in. I can put something together for you. But I say I'll put some good videos in there in the description, just so, because there's no little point in me remaking them because they're just very, very good in the first place. But I'll put that together. There's a couple of videos there, even from the guy, from Simon, who wrote the the thing on his channel, I believe, just showing a quick usage of the latest software. So, but this is for people who just want to get the video out. Any hoodle, thank you very much for stopping by. Appreciate you. And yeah, thanks. Bye.